Um, in the Vegas situation with Orlando Anderson, had Keefe D and them not pulled up on Tupac and everything went along fine, do you feel like that tape could have possibly sent Tupac back to prison because he was out on an appeal bond?
Yeah, I heard the groupie speak on that Pac was going back to jail. Whew, man. All right, y'all. There's interviews out there that Brennan and Ladd, the Compton PD's cops, tell y'all. Y'all can tell from the video that's there with Orlando. Tupac didn't talk to them. I'm sorry. Orlando didn't talk to them. They didn't know who the hell Orlando Anderson was until Brennan and Ladd told them who Orlando Anderson was. Nobody knew about that beatdown until after Pac got shot and killed and later died, is when they started investigating to why that happened, the why. It would have just been an assault. Nobody would have, Suge would have never got violated. Pac would have never, well, he wouldn't have got violated either if that shooting wouldn't have occurred. Because nobody would have cared, investigated, or anything worried about no Orlando getting assaulted. Only reason Vegas PD contacted Compton PD looking for who that LA gang member was because they were investigating a murder involving Compton guys. And that's why Brennan and Ladd recognized Orlando and told them who Orlando Anderson was, and they went and talked to Orlando. So you wouldn't have had a victim, an assault victim. Nobody would have ever heard about that incident if that shooting wouldn't have happened. Even if an anonymous informant would have called and said, Tupac, they wouldn't have cared. They would be like, well, we don't know who the victim is. The MGM in Vegas would have been like, okay, we don't know who the guy is. The only reason that case got that much attention was because of the murder that happened on a Las Vegas Strip. And then it been involving Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur. So let that sink in, y'all. And stop listening to that groupie and people just with their opinions on what would have happened, what would have, that don't know what they be talking about.
So, at the time that you were running the label when Suge was incarcerated, I don't think people fully comprehend all the success that the label had when you were running it, as far as all the albums that came out when you were running the label. Can you talk a little bit about some of the success that the label had, and that how most people just kind of want to frame you into that security box where after 1996, 97 is when you actually became president of Death Row, and not so much the security, if that is that accurate?
Well, I wouldn't call it president. He ain't never gave me that title.
Okay.
And everybody claims that title, from Daz to Michelet to, I even heard Hutch, Brother Law 187, all called themselves the president. But then in the next breath, they always say, but we had to go to Reggie to get the checks, permission to get the checks. So you're the president, but Reggie was the one who ultimately got you your check approved or not, which is funny to me, but everybody want to be president. But I never was the president. I was just the general manager. I never even really put myself as a title. I purposely didn't. I was just Reggie. But that owned a security company that supplied security work for Death Row. But yeah, it was a lot of albums I was in charge of, and DVDs and stuff like that. I don't know them offhand. Maybe you can pull it up right quick and tell it. But from anything that came out between 1997 and 2002, yeah, I mean, I was the one that had the final say. And I had people around me, Daz, Hutch. I brought this dude back for a minute, but he was fucked up. I didn't know he had AIDS, and he was dying, and I should have known his head wasn't in the game. Kevin Lewis, when I tried to help me with the Chronic 2000, and I was like, damn, I took Chronic 2000 Chronic 2000. I had to go back and remaster that with Big Bass Brian. I was like, what's up with Kevin? I said, I was in there, we was on our way up to see Suge in prison up in St. Louis Obispo. And I was listening to it, I said, man, that vocal is low. Look how I got to turn my stuff up. I was like, Kevin, So his head wasn't in the game no more. But Kevin Lewis, Hutch, that's when I went and got Hutch after that, from the Brother Law, 187. The realist was real instrumental with telling me what was good or what was not. So he had a very big, him and Kurt Cobain, my boy Kurt Cobain was real instrumental. Those were the guys. But go ahead, John. You should have the list by now. You can tell.
Yeah. So the albums were Gridlock soundtrack, Lady of Rage album, Gang Related soundtrack, Daz album, Michelet album, Tupac Greatest Hits, Chronic 2000, Death Row Uncut DVD, Tupac and Outlaw Still I Rise, Murder Was the Case DVD, Two Gangster for Radio, Snoop Dead Man Walking, Tupac Until the End of Time, The Dog Pound 2002, and Snoop Dogg Death Row's Greatest Hits, and then Tupac Better Days.
Correct. And also they got major deals with 4 different record companies after Priority. It was instrumental in getting a company. They went bankrupt on us, but that's what got me good with E1. With Chakach. This company called D3 and DNA out in from D3 was actually like Interscope. They did the ones that did the remastering of a lot of the music for us, and remastered and we put out the CDs. And that was with a company called DNA, who went belly up. And then we got the deal with Koch, and then also Ron Winter Productions. We had some ownership in that song with Craig Mack. What was the name? Mack, the guy in the UK.
Mark Morrison.
What was his name?
Return of the Mac. Mark Morrison.
Yeah, Return of the Mac. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I love that song to be on the internet now with that white lady that IG. She be bumping to that song and she be dancing to it. Y'all ever check out that on IG? It's funny with that song. But yeah, the DVD company Ventura put them on the map. Ron Winter's production put them on the map. And so so there was a lot of big deals that went down during that time. And so hey, but I'm just a little black security guard from Compton, but I put my resume on CD sales up to be in the top 10 in hip hop. I bet y'all can't tell 10 record labels that did better than I did from that time period of record sales. From that period of 1997 to 2002, y'all can't tell me 10 executives out there sold more records than I did. Name them. Y'all tell me in the comment section.